You're listening to BleedTV, the only podcast today's best shows and movies. I'm Zach.
And I'm Cash.
And we have Preacher. This was the 11th episode.
11th or 12th? No, it's 12th.
No, 12th. That's right.
Yeah,
12th.
like,
12.
Wait, no, we got two more? No,
Yeah,
that can't be right.
no. I need to get on my knees for that one. Yeah.
Oh, nice little smooth transition to the title. On your knees.
On your knees. Befitting
Yeah,
for the episode.
pretty on the nose.
Yeah, this isn't like Into the Badlands where you have no effing clue what you're talking about when it comes to titles. But
I mean, some of the worst titles, but the creativity level of those.
Creativity, but
was
where they had to do anything with it.
Was Breaking Bad like that? Like,
No. Breaking Bad had a lot of metaphors and a lot of unique things, but you could put two and two together.
yeah, like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has some of the best titles.
Yes.
I mean, like you're like, this applies to like 15 different characters.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like I said, we only have one episode left before the season finale. What was the overall opinion of the episode?
Well, IMDb gave it a solid 8, and I'm going to say, like, I feel like this was a better episode. Like, over the past, like, 4 or 5 weeks, this gave me a lot of things that I wanted.
You know what this episode did for me? It got to the point.
It did.
That's the one thing about it. Like, there was no hee-hawing around. There was no innuendo. There was nothing like that. It was like, just like watching a boxing match. This guy's punching this guy's punching that. I mean, that's what you're watching it for.
We did
it's
have
not
a lot
dancing
of
around.
punching.
You know, it is what it was. And this one really did. We had a lot of good action. It progressed. You know,
one of the best like choreographed fights. Like nothing was over dramatic in anything. Like there wasn't like a terrible miss in the punches and kicks and hits. Like I really appreciated that because we've seen a lot of bad fight scenes that were really cool, but were just done poorly.
Right. Well, let's dive into it and get with it. We really kind of have gone more into the Hitler and Eugene little saga because last time we saw them, they had just dropped into the hole, and
I am completely confused on this hole. Like, I mean, I hate to go ahead and jump to like the end of the hole, but how are they looking down on people after we drop into this hole?
This is a great question.
Because
not only that, even the Satan lady or the warden or whatever you want to call it, she's like, any chance we found him, this, that, or so on. Did we not realize that we dropped the bar that holds the hole open and it's not in the right place? I mean, there are some dead ringer clues here. And then, like you said, the whole you're in the ventilation shaft above people who are below you. I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and then like the timeline is really iffy because we walk over or crawl over the Cowboys. Hell.
Exactly.
And so, like, instead of looking for Eugene and Hitler, we go off on a side mission?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was very scattered. I mean, because the Hitler-Eugene thing, well, first of all, the other thing is, too, is they get down here, and this is Eugene's hole, okay? Yeah. Oh. The last time we were in the hole, his vision was the preacher, Jesse,
which I was expecting to come through again.
This time, it's a whole different angle. It ends up with a mascot. It ends up with
a very dark mascot, as we find out pretty quickly. But Hitler's facial expressions through all of this, hilarious.
Yeah, I was laughing pretty good with this. The whole 9 yards.
No, like, what haven't you beat? It was just like, oh God, you fight. Of course, she's going to ask to see it. And he's like, oh, God.
I know it.
It's like this again. And I was like, well done, Hitler. Like, I mean, God, I want to like you so much, but you're Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's like, oh, disgusting little thing. I was like, oh, my God. Man. And then the constant blowing her head off.
Oh, my God.
And then the mascot, and he greases the mascot.
Is like, hey, remember when I said you'd never touch me again? I meant to boom. Yeah. I was like, not wasting any time with this one. Like, why you were a boss, I don't know.
But like the dad with the face,
I hated it.
I didn't care for that at all. It was great to see the actor back.
Yeah,
it really was. But I hate to say it, but like his prosthetic on his face didn't move or work even when he was trying to. At least when Eugene was doing his part, like you saw movement.
It was creepy
with the hole and the drool and things like that. It was like more emphasis on detail.
And this guy is like the the subtitles were pointless because I could understand them perfectly.
Right, and it was
like you said. There was no like, so it was, no,
yeah, no. It was like I'm talking with a sheet over my face.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't rhyme. I mean, it didn't rhyme true, and I was really surprised the prosthetic wasn't done better. Don't get me wrong, it looked cool if you were frozen picture, but when he went to moving and talking, and I was like, I just couldn't stop focusing on it, going like, you're talking and your jaw is,
I was just looking at a butthole. Like that's not moving.
like it was missing the whole point there.
But I hated how like simple it was. Like I know we couldn't have spent any more time on it, but it was just like, no, Dad, I love you, and like I was like, yeah, this is touching, this is wonderful, but what was the point?
Yeah, I don't know. Like he was perfect with everything except for the girl.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And I was like, okay.
And I mean, I understand why we didn't want to go back to the girl and everything. And like, bravo for Eugene for like, no, it's not my fault that you killed yourself. That's on you and stuff. Like, to beat that survivor's guilt, which is a huge thing in pretty much like his entire character. So now we're going to be hopefully looking at a completely different new Eugene.
Well, yeah, we should have somebody who's definitely more self-confident. And
like, I mean, that's a big thing. It hopefully doesn't get brushed over. And
yeah, I really do. But like I said, to close out that scene of them opening the window and then ending up in the ventilation shaft, I didn't really understand that. No, don't get me wrong.
And like, I don't even know how they got to the ventilation shaft.
Right, because the thing was showing, and then he went through the window, you know,
and they were still in the room.
It was a solid wall.
Yeah, like as soon as they got out of the window, like it was just the projection ended. So like they were still in a solid room.
Yeah.
And then like I'm trying to think back, there is no hole in the ceilings. Like these projectors drop down. Correct. It's just a pole. So why would there be a reflection, like a perfect square cut up in these things that we've never seen before?
And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you because like, it beats me up. It really does because I mean, like, well, the next scene does the same BS in a different way.
Well, I mean, before like, why didn't we get Hitler's again? Like, how did it pick Eugene? Like, I mean, that's a
that's
weird
true.
thing.
Why was Eugene the pick and not Hitler when it came to the hole?
Like, does Hitler not have to beat his personal hell? Like, I mean, this was...
And which would have been really intriguing to see what Hitler's was.
Yeah. I mean, like, we know, like, how does he beat it?
Right.
And I mean, as much as I love Eugene and everything, and, like, are we going to go back to the mascot, or was it just in there?
I think it was just in there.
Which is really sad because then it's like, kind of, what's the point? Because, I mean, that was a deep, dark thing.
It was. But I'll be honest with you, I would have been much more intrigued to see Hitler's dark side.
Yes.
Because than what we got.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, the next thing is that the truck at the bottom of the deepest swamp in all of Louisiana.
Jamie is still swimming in this swamp is how deep that thing is.
I'm calling straight BS.
Yeah, I mean, that thing felt like 7 seconds in water time.
I mean...
And head first.
I'm sorry. This is a total crock of you-know-what. And... Because
bull malarkey. That's what that was.
It was terrible.
It's just a whole pool of bull malarkey.
Because when they first showed the scene of the truck going into the swamp way back when, a few episodes back, you know what I mean? They made it look like it was a big old swamp, Well, then they drew the camera back to see what you are, and it's right next to a street. I mean, this thing probably wasn't 10 feet deep.
No, not even close.
And, you know, probably just enough for that truck just to submerge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, like, it didn't even fall, like, head first or anything. It gently drove into it.
Right. It was
and it's like
a drift.
Yeah.
It was a slow drift.
It was like it hit quicksand and just slowly sunk down into it.
I was like, so when they showed the scene of this thing like sinking to the abyss and hitting the bottom.
The cleanest water I've ever seen in a Louisiana swamp also, by the way.
It was tough.
Like, this was tough. Like out in Nevada, crystal blue after we got through like the first 2 inches of muck swamp.
I hate to beat that up, but like you didn't have to go that far.
No,
you really didn't. You know, and so now the whole punching the door, and then 1 week later still punching the door. You know, I was laughing pretty good. I thought that was pretty. That's an easy way to get a little pun or a little humor into the mix.
Yeah, but I mean, we still have no idea how they found this thing. Like, I mean, that was a big question we had.
I'm with you. You know, I tried to go back and think about how long have they been tailing Jesse Custard and all of them like that. And so I'm going to say there's plausibility.
That they somehow have a GPS tracker on them or
Not
something?
necessarily that they've just always kept eyes on him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because, like, if you remember when they first got to New Orleans, they were already kind of hot and heavy on him.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the whole setup of the singer and the white coats and the whole 9 yards. And that was within the first couple episodes. So you have to imagine they've kept tabs on him.
Okay. I can
and so
see
I'm
that.
going to call that plausible.
And I hate to, like, nitpick and stuff, but, like, also at the swamp scene, we see them, the big thing that's lifting it up, like, what, you know what that machine is?
It's a mobile crane.
Yeah, so that mobile crane is on wood.
That's right. It has on 4x8 sheets.
Yeah, you know, making sure that there's no marks or anything.
Well, that and it doesn't sink.
The other vehicle, they just drive it. It has completely different tire marks. And they don't we don't see them laying any new grass or anything. I made sure to look for it.
Yeah.
They didn't. And so we don't see all these other tire marks.
Yes. When you come back to go and get the vehicle, you would have known all this ground and from a giant wrecker pulling it out and all the
pretty big flaw. Like when you're being that meticulous with the mobile crane, and like you said, like I guess part of it was just to make sure it doesn't sink in everything. But man, that just looks bad.
It does. It doesn't jive well.
And then the last thing is, so we see him punching this thing underwater for a week, right?
Correct.
No give, no nothing. Water doesn't come close to breaching this thing.
Correct.
When we see them sink it, the doors are closed. It's the same exact kind of truck.
That is correct. And so when they put the replacement truck in there, somehow that one
gets filled with water.
Flawed door frame, I guess.